Hello everybody and welcome to this dev talk. This is for the mod called Holiday Haven. When you get the Holiday Haven mod installed, you should see this right here, little gingerbread house. And we're just going to kind of talk about, dev talk here. We're just going to kind of talk about what's going on in this mod, what's expected from it, the plans for the future, and maybe some little tips and tricks that you haven't noticed along the way that can help you out with how to use it. So first off, let's just talk about the build kits. So there's something called a full build kit. You can just simply click on it and you can change anything, any material to that style. Now, obviously, if I wanted to go in here and change these to a different variant, I have to do that by holding E. I go to the gear symbol and I'm able to click on variant, and then I can cycle through the variants. And as you can see, there's different variants to pick, and some of them are going to probably take a long time to get to, because if you got to cycle through a bunch of options and you have a floor like as big as this, it could be pretty time consuming. So I guess the best advice right now is to just kind of deal with it. If you're using the main builder's kit, there's a low risk of anything breaking in the future, because the full building kit will always be with variant cycles. So you'll always be able to change variants like this if you built with a full build kit. However, if you decided to go quick and try one of the experimental build kits, which is fine, that's like these will be called quick kits. They basically are just quick. So it's just like if you want everything to just be chocolate as fast as possible, you don't want to have to cycle through all the options, you can just try one of the quick kits. However, the quick kits have no variants, so if you change your mind later, you're screwed. Long story short, just use the full builder's kit, and you're probably gonna have to cycle through things unless you want to just skip through it really quickly, in which case you would use a quick kit. Okay, so those are the build kits, and also there's some things I want to talk about for these build kits that some people may not know. There are some, so it's mainly for all the structures. So these are structures, like basically building pieces. So walls, ceilings, doorways, fences, posts, pillars, all sorts of stuff, right? But what some people don't know is they also work on other things, such as, so here is a behemoth gate. It could be any material, it doesn't matter. And you just simply place it on like that, boom, and you're good to go. And that's your new behemoth gate. So here you go, here's a billboard. And all we have to do now is just go to our builder's kit, and boom. Now we have a cool looking billboard, and you can still type on this. Type your message here, please. There you go. And it will just pop up like that with a nice, good contrast black background. I got some Christmas lights up there and a little elf. And now if you don't want the elf on the left, if it is interfering with all your stuff, you can just change the variant to the right side. So another thing you can use this for is things like the water tap, the crop plots, and the water tank. So you just switch to your builder's kit and you can just place it on like that. And then we get this cool looking water tap version. Got different crop plots. It works on all sizes. And the water tank. It does kind of glow in the dark too, by the way. So some things will glow in the dark, some things won't. So I just want to kind of address that. You'll kind of maybe look over these things because it's a part of the builder's kit. It's not necessarily its own thing. So the builder's kit does work on some things that you wouldn't think it would, but it does. So just kind of experiment with it, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. So for the ornaments, those use small decor boxes, as you can see right here. And the ornaments are specifically designed to be hung from something. They don't do well on the ground. They're meant to be either hung or on the wall. So you want to put them on the ceiling like this, and then all you have to do is just switch to your ornaments, place them down, and they will automatically look like they're being hung from the ceiling. You can use these like on the base, like on the roof if you want. You can make them huge, like gargantuanly huge. Or however you want to do that. And then the other things that you can do are, you can cycle through these different variant versions. There's not too many at this moment of the recording, but there will be a lot more later. So always check back and check the patch notes in our Discord, because there's always going to be different content being added. But that's how you properly put the ornaments on, or at least that's how I designed them to be. You can rotate pretty much everything in this mod kit You just got to look for the rotate skin option, and then depending on what you want to do, there's the different angles here. So if we wanted to, we could grab like the Z-axis and start spinning it around. So there's different options. You just got to see if it has them. That's all. If it doesn't have the options, there's a good reason for it usually. But if it doesn't make sense, just let me know. So moving onward, some things also go on canvases. Canvases are overlooked sometimes, but treat canvases just like you would with decor boxes, because I do a lot of canvas stuff. So you just basically place down a canvas, and as you can see, when I place down this wall sign, it wants to basically try its best to make the center of the entire asset snap to where the top of the canvas is. So if you see the top of the canvas there, and I place this down, that's usually around, not perfect, but it's usually around the center of where the asset is, just so you have a better idea of how to place these assets and have good measurement on them. So, and that's also true for my Tiki mod as well. It's pretty similar with a few different differences for different assets. There we go. So this also works on the ground if you want, and you can rotate it. You can make it huge if you wanted to. You can go scale up to really show off that that cool mod asset. Moving onward, let's talk about some of the noisy things in this game and how my mod will make sure that doesn't ever have to bother you again. So basically, let's listen to some of the natural sounds first here so you can get an idea. Although we don't enjoy this. Super loud, super annoying, hard to think, hard to focus, right? So let's grab our assets for those. So we're going to need a fabricator, which we have right here. And we're going to need a grinder. I love the grinder, by the way, in the game. It's a really OP feature in the game that not too many people pay attention to. So this grinder right here will now turn into the Santa's Workshop, and we'll turn that now into the Santa's Workshop fabricator. And as you can see, they're way quieter. They have a nice little peaceful paper sound, so much easier to deal with. They look good, they sound good, and all my mods do this as well. So all the sounds and particle effects will all be overwritten, and it's non-destructive. So all of my code is non-destructive, which means if you remove this, it'll go right back to how it was supposed to be before you placed it. I know some mods actually will break your stuff, but my mod does not. So you can relax on that. It should be nice and fluid and just pop on, pop off. You can also switch to my other mod, if we go to Tiki, just to show you. And if we look for the grinder there, which is right here, you can just place the grinder right on top of this grinder, and it will automatically clean itself up and switch to the Tiki mode. So there's definitely some convenience there. It's nice and easy. It's quiet. They shouldn't have any loud noises or weird effects, you know, blasting from the original. Let's get rid of this one. Ah, much better. This one plays a little Christmas tune. There's a Christmas tree. So yeah, a lot better, a lot more relaxing. Everything has custom sound effects too, for opening, closing, activating, soft noises in the background while they're running. So it's a lot more quality controlled for my assets. So everything should look and feel how it's supposed to for the mod. If something looks very odd and you see something blasting in the wrong direction or something isn't correct, please let me know. This one is for the tech teleport pad, and it's kind of hard to see right now, but it does emit actual light that you can see that will emit the whole area. So now we're at nighttime, and we can kind of see, if we zoom in here, you'll see how it's like emitting this light around the area, and I'm actually kind of lit up from it. So it will light up your room. Again, it depends on the settings. You can see how this one lights up your room as well. I'm getting some bounce lighting coming off of this. So anything that you see that has lighting generally will actually emit the light. You can see how the lights are actually changing color in real time. So they're not just glow effects, they're actual lights. So most of my lights will all do that. Let's get rid of this really obnoxiously loud fire. So this is the tribe tower. So let's find the skin for the tribe tower. And we'll put this on real quick. Much better. So this is the angel, and then we can also get the other variant here. Comes with a little bit of a heavenly sound in the background. And then we have the dragon. Pretty cool. And these also kind of give off some light, and of course there's some special particle effects going on there as well. So very cool stuff that you can add here. I just kind of wanted to touch on the surface here with some of them, and hopefully that helps you kind of see what those are like. I will explain the menu system right now. So it starts with builder kits, which I will add little icons to these soon for all of my mods. I just haven't gotten to it yet. So you start with builder kits, and then it goes into categories. So Christmas lights category, food, ornaments, which you saw me messing with earlier, statues and stuff like that. And then, of course, as we get further down the road here, this is the last of the categories. And then it switches into singles. So these are like actual functional assets, such as a campfire, a chair, workbench. We can do vaults real quick, just show you vaults. And then all you have to do for these is you just slap them on actual items. These actually have a mild glow effect, by the way, so they kind of glow at night, which is pretty cool. Something to kind of give you a little bit more oomph than just the regular skin color. So we can kind of change these to different colors, and this is actually evergreen, which means that it's an asset that's kind of designed on purpose. I made it so that you can use it all year round, and it doesn't really scream any type of specific holiday. So I did that on purpose just so that you're also getting something that doesn't feel dated when the holiday runs off. So, and it's like that in a few of my assets for a few different, sections and stuff. You'll notice that some things kind of might not seem entirely Christmassy or Halloween-esque, but they're kind of designed that way on purpose so that they stay evergreen year round. So those are the vaults. Different sounds for all these, of course. When you go in and out. And then if we want to switch to a little example here quickly of statues, you can adjust your statues by rotation or by scale. You can make these bigger. Statues are literally statues. They don't move or anything, but they do some things that are a little interesting if you're willing to wait around long enough. For example, this one will actually throw you little candies every once in a while, which is kind of cool and different. I think the only other thing I wanted to talk about was that once you start getting through the line of catalogs, you'll start getting into individual items, which is kind of what we were looking at. And each individual item should have like its own lighting control systems or whatnot. So if I switch to, let's say, the Steam Forge, and then we want to replace that with our version, you'll see how it turns on its own lighting systems, its own fog, and it's kind of doing like its own thing. So every asset should basically, dominate the scene with whatever kind of style it is. I did want to talk about a little hidden gem here that's not really shown, and that is inside the pillars. So if we switch to thin pillars like this, I just want to talk about pillars. Basically, the long vertical thin pillars or the long horizontal pillars. So if we go back to our builder's kit, this is a little tricky, but we switch to the builder's kit and we switch it to this gingerbread like that, okay? Then we go into this and we change the actual skin variation. We can actually change this now to different Christmas lights. And these are actually string lights. Now the reason why I put these on pillars instead of decoration boxes is because no matter how hard I tried, I could not make deco boxes snap perfectly. They never wanted to work. So I went with pillars for now. So you can make strings of lights, you can put them up high, put them low. You can also grab these now and you can rotate these, whichever direction you want, of course. You'll have to figure out which angle works best for you. So you can like rotate them, you can have them popping out of the floor, but it just gives you a lot of options. So again, that's a skin variation that's inside the thin pillars. And yeah, they're pretty cool. Well, I think that's pretty much all I wanted to show you. Just a few little tips here and there, and just kind of show you what's going on so far and how it's looking. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, obviously you can leave some comments in the YouTube video, or you can join our Discord and make sure you leave comments there. That is the #1 place where all communication is right now for all of my mods, and I respond as soon as I see the messages. So feel free to chime in with your own personal comments, and if you find any mistakes, let me know and we can fix them up. But hopefully you guys enjoy the mod Holiday Haven.